to drift above the skies. Cloudy revelation.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, straight out of the minds that thought that a dead version of an Optimus Prime figure would be a good idea, we have the new Buzzworthy Bumblebee Transformers Studio Series 86 2-pack of IRONHIDE and PROWl. And while, yeah, we have gotten versions of these figures before, the difference, though, is that these ones are now dead, courtesy of some massive blast holes caused by Starscream and Megatron. You know, these Autobots were just leisurely flying around in space, just minding their own business, and then... For the package, though, as you can see, you got the Buzzworthy Bumblebee logo. You got Buzzworthy Bumblebee stuff all along the side. As I mentioned, this is the Transformers Studio Series 86 line, directly from the Transformers the movie, the film that killed the childhood of a lot of us 80s kids. Come around to the side, you got images of IRONHIDE and PROWl. They look sad. The top section here just says that Transformers movie thing right there, bottom, blah, blah, blah. Come on to the back, and you got images of them in their vehicle and their robot mode. And go ahead and read that. That's fun. And what's interesting is IRONHIDE comes with two blasters here, but he doesn't need to come with them because he only used one in that one scene. It was Ratchet that actually used two. But, you know, who cares? I'm not going to complain about guns. But for the packaging on these guys, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get them out here and see how cool they actually are. Alright, so here we have the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Transformers Studio Series 86 IRONHIDE and PROW opened up out of their packaging and obviously in their vehicle modes. And this is meant to replicate how they looked when they were basically destroyed by the Decepticons on that shuttle that had these two, Brawn and Ratchet. And while we did see IRONHIDE in his vehicle mode briefly, I don't recall ever seeing PROWl. So it's kind of weird to have these in their vehicle modes with the battle damage, because even though we did see IRONHIDE looking like this, he didn't have the damage. But for the accessories, pretty much what you got with PROWl and IRONHIDE is the same that we got in the regular release. What we do get new here are these blast effects. Now, we have seen these before. They've come in a multiple array of colors. But in terms of this, you have this purple blast, which is more designed to replicate the blast that Megatron shot them with. Or more specifically, like the Decepticons. You do get a pair of them, and you can split them up into the different segments, so you can kind of choose how you want to do it in terms of the orientation and such, but I kind of like that. This one's also kind of really warped. I'm going to have to heat that up because I don't like that bent sort of look, but I do like the purple translucent color on here. That's really nice. And you can attach these on their battle damage sections. You see, obviously, this front windscreen with the battle damage underneath there, and then you got this little hole section right here that you can take this, just kind of wedge that in there. Now, this is, again, kind of weird because, well, yeah, Megatron shot him. He's like, no! And then Megatron shoots him, and then mostly you see the blast from the back. But it should be like this kind of thing. For PROWl, you do have a little nub that sticks out, that these do have holes that you can just take that and fit that right in there, and you can do that if you really want to. Again, looks a little bit more pronounced and dramatic in the robot mode, obviously, but as you can see, weapon storage right here. Basically, I'm trying to look to see, this is the other one. The color's a little bit off. This is a little bit more of an off-white, where this is more of a bright white. I don't really even know if you're able to see the difference there. But basically the same exact gun. Now this is where I'm really kind of torn, because obviously the coloration on here is a lot more cartoon accurate. They also have done away with the transparent windows on here. I do recall somewhere someone saying that they feel like a premium look for it is when they give kind of clear windshields. The problem, though, is that you get things like this, which is molded in this clear plastic, and then you have to paint it, so it creates an off-white kind of color. But the rest of them is very off-white. This one definitely looks better. I like the blue that they have for the actual windshields all the way around. Looks very, very nice. I do like the white for the little light bar here at the front. The white just in general on them is much nicer. This has the little logo. This has police. There's nice paint here on the tires, or more specifically the rims, which just, I don't know, like I said, gives a much better look to them. But you have the damage there. Now, I have seen some people, and I get slightly annoyed when they sit there and say that they should have just made it where there's a swappable chest plate. You would have to completely re-engineer this. So asking for that is completely ridiculous. Remolding it, easy to do. But to have a swappable piece, not very easy. So criticizing Hasbro for not including a clean look, I'm not going to fall under that sort of thing. That's completely dumb. And anybody who says that is ridiculous when they're trying to kind of offer a criticism on this. But I do really like it. I just, the battle damage there, you know, it's kind of unfortunate. Now, for Ironhide, again, the weapons are basically the same. Trying to look at these. Maybe a slightly different shade of silver. Again, really hard to tell, but works pretty good. This looks fantastic. Again, they replaced the clear plastic, which was on a lot of that other one, which did create kind of a imbalance in terms of the color. They also have this yellow line, which I think is fantastic. It's very accurate, looks great. Bringing in that original one, you can see that there was a pretty big difference between, or there is a pretty big difference between these two. The coloring, like I said, pretty much the same. You can kind of see how like this is a little bit different than the back section here. But for the most part, it looks pretty much identical. Like I said, you do have the clear bits, the windows. I think that just looks a whole lot more cartoon accurate. It has that cell shade look to it, which that really doesn't. It does give a more real-life vehicle mode sort of look, but if you're going with this, you want the cartoon look. And then you got the back section here, which has that nice window as well. The biggest difference, though, I think, is really the translucent plastic as well. But then again, you have the battle damage there, which I do like the internal detail on that. I mean, both of them have a lot of nice sculpted in, roughed up looking detail. I really dig that, but you can't really do much with that. So it's really hard. And like a lot of the other colorations and stuff, especially in robot mode that you'll see, do have a more accurate looking representation to them in the cartoon. So, I mean, I get why people would want to have these without the battle damage. But again, same thing with Ironhide. You would have to completely re-engineer this chest to have a swappable piece. And I don't think that they're, you know, really worth doing it. This is a very niche kind of release that I don't think a lot of people are going to really run out and want to get. Because these ones are perfectly serviceable, but these definitely do have more of that accurate cartoon color. Now, transformation is the exact same. None of that changes. All the joints and tolerances on my copy are identical, so it doesn't really feel like there's any mold degradation. So I don't think it's really necessary to go through the transformation on these guys. So I am going to go ahead and skip it and just kind of focus on just reviewing these. But I will put a link down in the video description, so if you need any help whatsoever, you can check out my review on these two and get any help that you might need. But utilizing some of that good old-fashioned Optibotimus movie magic, we're going to go from these guys looking like this, and bang! Here we have Ironhide and PROWl in their robot modes. And yes, you do get the backdrop that all the Studio Series figures comes with. This is that scene where the Decepticons are blasting in and about to kill everybody. It is the same backdrop basically that we got with the Brawn figure, bringing that one in so you can see that. It's just much more scaled down and a little bit bigger actually. You can see that there's more of a smoke side section here than what's here, and then you get more of the computer that Brawn was sitting at. So that's nice to see that it's not just, you know, a blown up version. I mean, it is blown up, but there is more extra stuff. The little side bits here just say Studio Series and then Transformers. But getting that out of the way, coming in to take a closer look at the figures. And again, basically, it's a difference of coloration and some slight remolding. Obviously, you can see that the chests have been redone, but they also did remold the heads as well. So coming in to take a closer look at Ironhide, you can see that, no, that is really cool. And then just bringing in the other one for comparison, you can see that his is just a normal sort of thing, but also they went with a gray paint on there as opposed to the silver on that, which I do kind of like the silver on there. But the rest of the figure really is pretty much the same in terms of the robot mode colorations. The biggest difference would be the chest section, and I do really wish that they had the lighter blue for this. It doesn't bother me really all that much, to be totally honest. Then when you come around to the side, you can see that you got the transparent blue plastic for the leg section, whereas that's the painted version. Now, in terms of the transformation on this, I talked about how like the tolerances are the same, but one thing that I have noticed is that with them replacing the clear with the molded coloring, especially transforming with the legs and stuff, seems to work a little bit better. So that is an improvement for the most part. But Ironhide here, essentially the same that we got with the previous version of them. Great detail all the way around. Like I said, I do really like that chest section. And then if you wanted to, you can plug that in just to kind of have a blast kind of going through. But again, it really should be kind of like that for the most part. I mean, it's not bad or anything, but like if you also wanted to kind of like really recreate it, I mean, I kind of wish that they put a whole section here where you can do that, because that's what you basically saw Megatron shooting through. So overall, there's not much of a difference in terms of robot mode here with the coloration, other than like the face. That's really the biggest difference between that, and then obviously the translucent window. But when you take a look at PROWl, now PROWl does get considerably better paint scheme, I do think. You can see that obviously the chest and everything is a little bit different in terms of the little black section right here. You got the battle damage. You got the nice blue for the headlights here, whereas this is that translucent bit. But when you look at the lower body, like with the gray instead of the black here, looks a lot nicer. I mean, the arms are basically identical. The coloring is a little bit off, but the lower section, so much nicer. I like the gray that goes through the chest for the bumper as well. You got a little bit of a splash of coloring here on the crotch piece with like some gray and a red. And then obviously with the blue for the windshields, looks considerably better as well. But again, it's that damn chest that just kind of takes it away from you. Now, he also did benefit from a new head sculpt, so coming in, no, wrong way, coming in to take a closer look at that. Now, one thing that I wish that they did here, I know this is going to sound weird, but that is a great head sculpt, looks fantastic. Do kind of wish that they put a little bit of a red paint in the mouth and in the eyes, because those pulsated red when he was destroyed. You got that gray paint as well, whereas this is just that silver, so really not that much of a difference there. But love that new head sculpt, and that's kind of like a creepy sort of look for him. But realistically, like I said, the vast majority of him looks better than this guy. Now, I don't know if you can part swap. Some of the stuff looks like it's pinned in there, so that might be harder to do any kind of part swapping. This is definitely a far more accurate paint scheme in robot mode, though, than what we got with Ironhide. Ironhide really doesn't change all that much, to be honest. But PROWl here definitely does. Both of them are great figures. It's really hard to... It's like, I love the paint job, but then I kind of get annoyed because we got the battle damage. I really wish that that was something that was consistent with this. Like, they should have did the coloration for him on him. I guess it kind of makes it where you really kind of want to buy another figure. I don't know, honestly. But it is definitely unfortunate that they... I mean, I don't know. I get it as a business that they need to kind of, like, try and maximize things, I guess. I'm just setting up a traumatic scene here, you know, to kind of really make you guys feel bad for these dudes. I just, like I said, I really feel like the color here is the preferred color for them that a lot of fans would have preferred to have, and unfortunately we didn't get it. I mean, I ended up buying them, so I guess, you know, it is what it is. This needs a little bit looser, so I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this a set that you want to pick up? Have you picked it up? What do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are your guys' thoughts on this? I know that it's really kind of polarizing, but I'm curious what you guys think on these guys. Now, as I mentioned, this is part of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee set, so at retail, it is exclusive to Target stores. But I did pick mine up through Hasbro Toy Shop, so they seem to be able to carry some of the exclusives as well. So, if you'd like to add these guys to your collection, they are hitting various retail locations right now. But as I mentioned, they are at Hasbro Toy Shop, so I'll also put a link right down there in the video description. But there you go, guys. There's my look at the new Transformers Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series 86, Ironhide and PROWl. As always, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. And until next time, this is Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir, and Auf Wiedersehen.